All right, Algebra 1, we are going to spend the rest of this week talking about factoring using the X method. So what we talked about yesterday, where we just had to find two numbers, we're going to keep doing that today, but use that in order to factor polynomials. So today all of our terms will be positive and our leading coefficient will be equal to 1. Before we get started, let's do a little review. So here we have two binomials that we are multiplying together. Hopefully you remember that in order to do this, we need to double distribute. So we are first going to distribute x into the second set of parentheses, and then we would distribute the 3 into the second set of parentheses. So when we distribute the x times x is x squared, plus x times 4 is 4x. Then we distribute the 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 4 is 12. Hopefully you see that you can combine like terms. So we combine the 4x and 3x to give us 7x plus 12. There we go. Oh, almost. There's our answer. Okay, so why is this important? Well, you might notice that the numbers that were in our binomials, 3 and 4, are related to the numbers that ended up in our polynomial 7 and 12. So this is important because 3 times 4 equals 12 and 3 plus 4 equals 7. So if we had been looking at that x yesterday and we'd been trying to multiply to 12 and add up to 7, we would have used 3 and 4. That's why this is important for today. Today we are going to be going backwards. Instead of distributing, we are going to factor, which means we're going to take a polynomial like this one and write it as a multiplication problem like we see here. Okay, so today we're working these problems backwards and for the rest of the week. So let's give these a try. You are always going to want to write these as multiplication problems, which means that your answers will have two sets of parentheses. Okay, so your answer should always have two sets of parentheses. We are always going to be multiplying to the number in the back and adding to the number in the middle. So when we set up our x, we are trying to find two numbers that multiply to 2 and add up to 3. Okay, multiply to the constant in the back, add up to the middle coefficient. So in this case, we don't really have a very long list for things that multiply to 2. The only numbers that multiply to 2 are 1 times 2, and luckily 1 times 2 also adds up to 3. So we're going to use these numbers that we filled in on the sides here to help us write our answer. So remember I said our answer would be sets of parentheses. So we would have x plus 1 because it's a positive 1, and x plus 2, again, it's a positive 2. So those numbers on the sides get filled into our parentheses, and this would be our final answer. Okay, so the x method helps us write our answer, but you can't just stop at the x today. We actually need to put it into our answer, meaning we wrote it as a multiplication problem. Let's go on to number 2. We are looking for two numbers that multiply to 16 and add up to 10. If you're not sure what those numbers might be, you could make your list or look at your list of factors for 16. 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 3 won't work, 4 times 4. Hopefully looking at this list, it's easy to see that our factors 2 and 8 would also add up to 10. So those numbers would fill in our magic X. And then we can write our answer, X plus 2, X plus 8. So we're just taking what we did yesterday a step further so that it will help us factor. Remember, you can always pause, rewind these videos if you need to. If you have any questions, write them down and email them to me, please. But for now, we'll move on. We are going to do a total of 6 examples today. On number 3, we are trying to multiply to 49 and add up to 14. Again, our list of factors for 49 is pretty short. If you're looking at your sheet, you would see 1 times 49 and 7 times 7. Hopefully you see that 7 times 7 is the one that adds up to 14. So our answer in this case would be x plus 7 times x plus 7. Let's move on to number 4. We are trying to multiply to 24, add up to 11. Again, your list of factors here would be helpful if you have that yellow sheet sitting near you. Okay, we've got several pairs of factors for 24. The one that's going to add up to our 11 is going to be 3 and 8. So those are the numbers that finish my X, and those are the numbers that I use when I write my answer as a multiplication problem. Okay, questions or concerns, write them down. I'm going to move on to our last 2 problems. On number 5, we are multiplying to 12 and adding up to 13. Some of you might be able to think of that factor pair right away. If not, look through your list. All right, the only one that adds up to 13 is going to be 1 and 12. So x plus 1 times x plus 12. Multiplies to 12, adds up to 13. Remember, we're trying to multiply to the constant and add to the coefficient in the middle. All right, last example that we'll do in this notes video. We are trying to multiply to 36 and add up to 13. So if we make our list, or look at your list if you've got that yellow sheet, 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, 6 times 6. All right, the one that's going to add up to 13 is going to be 4 and 9. So that would be our answer, or part of our answer, x plus 4, x plus 9. Now, if you're wondering if it matters if you put the 4 first or the 9 first, it doesn't. Okay, they're both positive. So if you really wanted to write your answer as x plus 9, x plus 4, that would be fine. I don't care which one goes in the front or the back. Again, any other questions that you come up with, please email them to me. Make sure you get the Google form filled out with your answers for the worksheet. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.